At the Heads of Government meeting in London, leaders attended a high-level session on climate change, where key priorities such as reducing community vulnerabilities and how to generate development post-natural disasters were discussed. The Minister of Housing and Environment, the Honourable Ramal Ferreira, sat in on discussions regarding climate change, rising sea levels, and how these issues impact the Bahamas.
And one of the things that sort of really got home is the fact that there are a number of low-lying countries all around the world. The Bahamas is perhaps one of the lowest lying in the Atlantic. Most of the countries are actually in the Pacific, but our experiences are the same. We're threatened and we're vulnerable. Individually, we may not have strength. Individually, it's kind of like a mouse going to fight a tiger, but together, as a unified voice, then we have much more strength. And when you take into account that the Commonwealth represents 1/3 of humanity, if we can have consensus on an issue such as climate change.
Advocating for the introduction of a vulnerability index, leaders also discussed the inconsistencies that exist with using a country's gross domestic product to determine eligibility for post-disaster relief funding.
One of the particular challenges that we have as a nation, the two biggest ones in our response to climate change, the first is this. We live in a country where our GDP is skewed. By that I mean we have a number of billionaires and millionaires that live in a country that aren't necessarily Bahamians, and I put that in inverted commas, and that drives up the GDP, and it may not reflect the country's ability and the true GDP. And so when we go out into the market and we're looking for assistance to rebuild after hurricanes, to strengthen our infrastructure, to install the green infrastructure, to develop renewable energy, or for whatever we want to look for, a lot of times we don't qualify for the money because of the GDP. And so we need to have countries evaluate us on, or donor states evaluate us on a vulnerability index as opposed to a GDP index, or a GDP index that takes into account vulnerability.
This is Lindsay Thompson reporting for Bahamas Information Services at Chogm in London.